ready to go. But Raul Alegre's kicking tee let him down. So now we're ready. This should be a great football game. And it's underway. Barnett will bring it out. Not far, less than the 15-yard line. He's down on the 13. Dave Whitmore made the stop, and that's the way the game begins. And there's LT.
You know, this game will be a game of defense and turnovers. And Lawrence Taylor is obviously identified with defense, and he creates a lot of turnovers.
Byers and Tony, the running backs. Quick wide right, Williams in the slot to that side. Byers in motion. Cunningham falls down, unloads to Tony. Gets perhaps 4 with good second effort. Among those on the stop, the safety Greg Jackson.
When you think about Randall Cunningham, and even though that was only a 3-yard gain, we talk about him being a special kind of quarterback. He can beat you with his head, but he also can with some ability. He has a lot of quarterbacks, they trip over the right guard's foot. You don't make the play. He's able to get the ball off for 3 yards.
Anthony Tony is the lone setback on second down. Tony crosses the 20, and that's about it.
Well, we said the key to this Philadelphia offense, because Keith Jackson is still not here, is Keith Byers, number 41, coming out of the backfield, and Mike Quick, number 82, right there in the middle of the screen, going deep. Buddy Ryan feels that he needs to get the ball deep to Mike Quick.
Duerson and Raina Thompson come in on the nickel package, along with Perry Williams, 3rd and 5. Randall Cunningham. He'll throw for it. Duerson with him. Intercepted. It's intercepted by Emerson Wall.
Huh. You know, Skip, we said it was going to be a night of defense and turnovers. Everson Walls was a guy the Giants really weren't counting on. But it was plays like this. He made interceptions every day in training camp and 3 in the preseason. He said, hey, if he can do that, we have to give him a chance on opening night. And in the first series, he did what he did all preseason and for 9 years with the Dallas Cowboys.
Odessa Turner wide right. Phil Sims asks the crowd to zip it up. Not much chance of that. He flips a pass out into the slot. Lewis Tillman with it to the 32-yard line. Eric Allen on the stop.
Reggie White, number 92, can hurt you different ways. He, too, like Taylor, causes fumbles. You know, some guys make plays on quarterbacks and just make sacks or hurries. But what makes, I think, Reggie White unique is that when he gets there, he causes the quarterback to fumble, and he's done it to Phil Sims a couple of times last year.
Mark Ingram splits left. Turner to the right. 2nd and 9. Sims on the give. It's Lewis Tillman, and he's got some room close to a first down. Inside the 25, Jesse Small, the linebacker, made the stop.
You know, what you will see from Phil Sims tonight is him using a lot of different people in the running game and in the passing game. We've seen Lewis Tillman here. Later in the evening, you'll see Rodney Hampton. Otis Anderson is still here, the 1,000-yard rusher from a year ago. And you'll see Phil Sims take a beating tonight, but still hang in there and play well in the 4th quarter.
3rd and 1, 3 tight ends in the game for New York from the 25-yard line. Roscoe in motion. The give to O.J. Anderson. I think he got enough for the first down. Otis Anderson with his first carry of the night.
Boy, what a collision there. Byron Evans, the middle linebacker for the Eagles, and then Otis Anderson.
They're going to measure. He may not have it at that. Oh, it looked like he got enough yards.
You know, Bill Parcells loves his offensive line. Thinks they're great short yardage blockers. And there wasn't a big hole there. but he thinks his offensive line, a young offensive line, has a chance to be awfully good.
He's an inch short. He probably goes for it on 4th down more than most.
Yeah, well, last year, believe it or not, 22 times he went for it and made it 17 of those 22 times. Led the league by a long shot on 4th down.
The crowd is happy that they're going to go for it. They will, of course, boo if the Giants fail to make it.
You know, Skip, short yardage is kind of like riding a subway in some ways. It's a battle for territory with a lot of one-on-one wrestling matches.
Anderson, the sole running back behind Sims. Anderson, first down, near the 20-yard line. Boy, this place is up for grabs. Back into the game, Terry Hogue, along with Eric Allen. A couple of linebackers come out for Philadelphia.
Well, you know, this game has started pretty much exactly the way we thought it was going to. Defense, turnovers, New York Giant offensive line going for it on 4th down. Just what we expected.
Dave Meggett checks in, and he's wide to the right. Ingram splits to the left. First down for Sims and the Giants. Into the end zone. Too far. It was intended for Odessa Turner, but he just missed connection.
Boy, Phil Sims had Odessa Turner right down the middle of the defense. Again, they've been playing close to the vest, running the ball inside. Then they spread Odessa Turner out to the left side, ran right up the middle. Eric Allen gets there a little bit late, but the ball's too high. If he drills that ball lower, the Giants go up by 6.
Great protection for Sims that time. Meggett to the left. Mark Ingram, rather Leggett to the right, Ingram to the left. Sims will throw again. Again into the end zone, too far. It was again intended for Odessa Turner, but he threw it out of the end zone. And again, pretty good protection for Sims, but he's got a 3rd and 10 staring him in the face. And that's just what the Giants wanted to avoid in this game.
Well, 3rd and 10, this guy, their #1 draft pick, Rodney Hampton, has been awfully tough out of the backfield in the preseason. He's averaged 10 yards a carry running the football. He's been a big receiver for them. They are thrilled that Rodney Hampton is in the game of this kind of situation. You got Hampton and Dave Meggett in the backfield.
Ingram is wide to the right. Turner in motion, 3rd and 10. Sims has time. Oh, he missed Hampton. He had him all alone at the 12-yard line. He had him all alone, but overthrew him. Wes Hopkins was on the coverage, but he was 2 steps behind.
Well, just the matchup that Phil wanted. Rodney Hampton, Wes Hopkins, and he just ran a little simple option route where he breaks outside, but the protection has really been the key thus far. As you've said, Skip, when you talk about the rush of the Philadelphia Eagles, but the New York Giant offensive line have given Phil Sims an awful lot of time.
Hostetler will hold. Allegre will kick it from 38 yards. It's long enough. It's good. So the Giants have drawn first blood. The Everson Walls interception pays off in 3 points. Giants 3-0. We'll be back right after this.
The NFL on TNT is being brought to you by AT&T, the right choice.
Calvin Williams is deep along with Bellamy and Fred Barnett. Barnett, number 86, in the middle.
If you're Randall Cunningham, you can't wait to get back on the field. You know, you want to start the opening of the season well. You come out and you throw an interception on your first series. He can't wait to get back out there and get into a rhythm.
Allegre will kick it up. 3-0 Giants. 10:51 left in the quarter. It will be Barnett at the 4. He gets outside. He breaks 1 tackle, and Duerson runs him out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. For a moment, it looked like he was going to go for a wait. 23-yard return, not bad at all, and Philadelphia has the football back.
You know, very few players, or some players are just right for the teams, and you think Lawrence Taylor is just right for this Giant team. You think of the Lakers, you think of Magic Johnson, you think of the Mets, you think of Darryl Strawberry, the Celtics, Bird, but when you think of the Giants, you think of Lawrence Taylor.
1st and 10 for Philadelphia. Quick in motion. The give is to Tony, and he gets very little as he goes up the gut. Among those on the top, John Washington. He's in there for Leonard Marshall.
They say when you beat the Giants, you have to block Taylor. They'll use different combinations, tight ends, tackles. That's time. It is Keith Byers, number 41, who's ordinarily a back. He lined up as a tight end and did a nice job on Lawrence Taylor.
2nd down, 6 yards to go. Calvin Williams wide to the left, quick wide right. Cunningham will put it up. He's got a man, complete, a penalty flag flies. Mike Quick the reception. Mark Collins made the stop, but let's check the handkerchief.
NFC Eastern games. It's the hold against the Eagles.
Gordon McCarter, our referee, will let us know who the culprit is.
Holding, 66 offense, 10 yards, repeat, 2nd down.
Ron Solt called for the penalty.
The NFC East is a physical conference. Both these quarterbacks are going to take shots like that. That time Randall Cunningham took it from Dorsey, but the key to this game is each of these quarterbacks being able to survive those into the 4th quarter, because it's going to be a 4th quarter game, and your quarterback is going to have to win it or lose it then.
So it's 2nd and 17 for Philadelphia. Quick comes wide left against Perry Williams. Schuler goes in motion. Draw play. Tony beats one man, but that's all. He got by Pepper Johnson, but Eric Howard was there to trip him up. So the draw play gains from very little, and it's a 3rd and long as Jim McMahon, the backup Eagle quarterback, looks on.
Buddy Ryan was saying about Jim McMahon, it's that his presence in the locker room is what is important for this team. He's not here necessarily as a threat to Randall Cunningham, but his presence in the locker room is going to make us a better team.
The rain begins to pelt down here. Quick wide left with Byers in the slot to that side. 3rd and long. Byers in motion. Cunningham wants to run, throws in desperation, complete, but way short of a 1st down to Byers, and he did a great job of getting it away. Giants argue they had him in the grass, but that's not the case. Byers with the reception, but they'll have to give the football up to the Giants.
This Giant defense so far has really been tough. That time it was Pepper Johnson, who's ordinarily an inside linebacker, went to a defensive end and put the heat on Randall Cunningham.
Jeff Feagles will kick it. Dave Meggett stands at his own 28, and he's tough. Out of Towson State. Feagles gets it away, and it's a beautiful kick. At the 21, Meggett, not much there. He gets to perhaps the 27-yard line. So the Giants will take over. Britt Hagar made the stop. The Giants will take over, and we'll be back right after this. It comes from your local sponsor. Yard line, New York goes to work. Lewis Tillman, the sole setback. Tillman gets the ball. Tillman gets very little. He stopped at the 30-yard line. Clyde Simmons in on the tackle, a fine defensive lineman for the Eagle.
Yeah, Jerome Brown was too, number 99, and everybody talks so much about Reggie White. You forget how good Jerome Brown and Clyde Simmons and Mike Pitts, the other 3 guys in that down 4 linemen are. Those guys are awfully good. Jerome Brown, for a big man, 295, he's got to weigh over 300 pounds, but really quick feet. You see him stepping over an awful lot of blocks.
Carthon goes in motion to the left. Sims to throw. He's got pressure. He's got a man. It's complete to Howard Cross. Breaks a tackle. Reaches the 45-yard line. He's out of Alabama. A second-year man. He picked up 15. Sims hit him perfectly. Terry Hogue out of Georgia, the stop.
Bill Parcells says we start our offensive game plan by blocking number 92, Reggie White at center. 2 men are blocking him there, Eric Moore and Bart Oates, and they do a good enough job to allow Sims the right amount of time to get the ball to Howard Cross. But with this, against this rush, you do have to get the ball off a little quicker than you ordinarily would.
Rodney Hampton, the sole setback for the Giants. First down from the 45. Sims runs out of the pocket. He's got some room. He has a first down. He's got more, and he's out of bounds at the 35. Ben Smith, another Georgia youngster, ran him out. A 20-yard scramble for Sims.
Yeah, and Skip, you know what I love to see there? It was the block by Mark Ingram, the wide receiver, number 82. You know, if you get blocks by wide receivers, you turn 8-yard gains into 12 and 15-yard gains, and that's just what happened there. Mark Ingram saw that Phil Sims was going to run with the ball, put a block on his man, and then Sims picks up 7 more yards.
Bill Parcells switching his running backs with every play. That's something different for the Giants this year. Now it's Tillman and Carthon. Ingram wide to the right. Sims is going to put it up again. More protection. The throw is complete at the 30. Carthon held on and is down at the 30. Byron Evans made the stop.
Well, that's a frustrating play for a defensive player, because Byron Evans had Maurice Carthon covered about as well as you could cover a guy, but the ball was thrown right in between those two fours and away from the defender, Byron Evans, and that's why it was a completion.
Second down, 5 yards to go from the 30. Odessa Turner wide to the right. Tillman didn't get much. He ran into Mike Pitts. He's a load, former Atlanta Falcon.
Yeah, he also ran into Terry Hogue, too, the number 34, the strong safety, who's starting tonight for an injured Andre Waters. But, man, I tell you, this defensive line can cause you some problems. Watch, see those 4 guys down there? First of all, they're all big guys, all over 285. And they can fight through some blocks. They got real strong hands. They push the blocks away, reading all the time, and then make the stop.
Stephen Baker into the game for the Giants, an extra wide receiver. It's 3rd and 4. Turner in motion. Sims overthrew Rodney Hampton. Second time he's overthrown him at about the same spot. So the Eagles have held. And Allegre will check into the game, and Hostetler will hold. Watching some film, they had a great fake last year for a touchdown.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Yeah, this game traditionally has turned on some unusual plays.
This is a 47-yard attempt. Make it 46. It's plenty long. It is good. So the Giants have cashed in again. Allegre is 2 for 2. So far the Giants have dominated, but their lead is just 6 points. Net, Bellamy and Williams are the deep men. Allegre kicks it away. Who wants this one? It'll be Fred Barnett again. 20. And that's it. Lewis Tillman made the stop. Tillman really popped it.
Yeah, that's a nice special teams play by Tillman. He started the game at tailback, at halfback for the Giants, so they'll use a lot of different running backs, but you still have to go out and play some special teams like Tillman did there.
Byers and Tony, the running backs. Tillman, by the way, out of Jackson State, a second-year man. 1st and 10 at the 20 for the Eagles, who have accomplished very little to this point. Quick is wide right. Nothing Giants. Cunningham will put it up, and he goes long for Quick, and it is intercepted. The Giants have it again. Mark Collins came away with the football. Collins out of Cal Fullerton, and New York has it in great field position.
You know, it's amazing. You go one way, Everson Walls picks you off. You go the other, and Mark Collins intercepts you. Now, Collins is a guy that generally you don't want to pick on because he doesn't have any glaring weaknesses. He read the play beautifully. It was underthrown. And then he made a nice interception. But, you know, kind of a surprise call to try to go deep on Mark Collins when you think they want to go to the other side. But now the Giants have 2 good corners with the addition of Everson Walls.
Lee Roussan checks into the game for the Giants in the backfield and goes in motion. They're at their own 43 with a first down, and let's see if Sims wants all of it. He does, but he overthrows, and it's intercepted by the Eagles and by Wes Hopkins, and he's at the 42-yard line. The veteran out of SMU comes up with a big interception for Philadelphia.
Well, we did say the game was going to be won by defense and turnovers, and we have seen more tonight than Bill Parcells and Buddy Ryan want. But Wes Hopkins did a nice job because actually Sims had his man open for a moment, but he did a great job of reading the play. You see, he came from the other side of the field. The tight end wasn't his man. He just read the eyes and the throw of Phil Sims to make the play. Now, Wes Hopkins was beaten out by a rookie, Ben Smith, the #1 draft pick, but comes up with a big play there.
Tony is the lone setback. Now Philadelphia has it at their 43. Byers in motion. Tony the carry, and he's got some room this time across midfield. He's finally knocked down by Carl Banks, but about a 7 or 8 yard gain.
Yeah, that's the first real decent run the Eagles have had tonight, and when they've beaten the Giants, the last 2 times at least, they've been successful running the ball up the middle. Nice block by David Alexander, the center. Mike Shadd, the left guard. In the last 2 games, they've averaged over 150 yards running, primarily down the middle. And I think to get Randall Cunningham back into the rhythm, Skip, they're going to have to run the ball well.
Second down, about 3. Calvin Williams in motion. Tony gets it again and pulls his way close to the first down. And a little extracurricular activities there. In the boys will be boys department, Johnny Cooks gets into an altercation, but the officials break that up, and let's see if he's got the first down.
You see Johnny Cooks there. He's in there playing for Lawrence Taylor. When Taylor was out all training camp, number 98, Johnny Cooks was taking his place.
They move the chains. It is a first down.
Johnny Cooks, number 98, was the guy who, oh boy, I tell you, Ron Solt took it in the knee there too. Ron Solt, number 66 for the Eagles. But it's going to happen in this kind of game, Skip. You're going to see a lot of that pushing and shoving with big bodies, guys running the ball inside. You're going to see a lot of pushing and shoving.
Schuler and Crooks with a man inbound, and now a whistle. Let's see what we've got. Delay of game? No, timeout to prevent a delay of game. Philadelphia is forced to squander a timeout here. By the way, that was Philadelphia's first down. So we have a timeout on the field. And we'll be back after this. It comes from your local. Dominated the game, but they have just 2 field goals to show for it. And Philadelphia has the ball. They've just recorded their initial first down of the game. Quick wide to the right. Byers and Tony are the running backs. Williams in motion. Byers all alone. He's got him at the 40, and he's out of bounds at about the 37-yard line. Greg Jackson ran him out, but Byers very lonesome out there in the flat.
Yeah, that's too easy, you know, and that's the new look the Eagles want. Rich Kotite, their offensive coordinator, wants Randall Cunningham to get back 5 steps, get rid of the ball. And when you're that wide open, it's awfully easy. And, you know, I think the nice thing about Keith Byers, he doesn't, you know, he can be the featured back for you one week, and the next week come out and be a blocker for you, and he doesn't mope around and complain. That's unusual for running backs in the NFL. Another first down for Philadelphia. Cunningham starts his dance. He's off to the races, and he's got room. 25 out at about the 21-yard line. Yet another first down, and suddenly the Eagles get it going. Yeah, you know, that is kind of the quandary I think the Eagles find themselves in. On the one hand, they want Randall Cunningham to be a more structured quarterback. On the other hand, they don't want to inhibit him from plays like this. And I don't think you can have it both ways. I think you need to let Randall Cunningham do his thing. And again, that's what he was saying this week. He said, I want to have more responsibility. I don't mind having to make all the plays. Byers out of the game, came out limping, and Robert Drummond has checked in. First down at the 21, Philadelphia on a drive. Schuler in motion. The give is to Tony, nothing there. Lawrence Taylor was the first man there on the snap. You know, you always think about Lawrence Taylor rushing the passer so much, you forget sometimes how strong he is against the run, and teams try to slow him down by running at him. But you see, he just ran right through the block of Robert Drummond. You know, if a guy has a will and determination like Lawrence Taylor, I mean, few guys do, He just kind of runs through people to make plays.
Quick left, Williams right. Tony and Drummond, the running backs behind Cunningham. Incomplete, intended for Drummond.
Well, you know, you said earlier that Keith Byers went out with the injury, and if he doesn't get back in, that is a major hurt for them. They're missing Keith Jackson. Byers went out. He is their primary receiver out of the backfield. Remember, he caught 68 a year ago. So without Jackson, without Byers, Randall Cunningham doesn't have the weapons that he needs.
Harper LaBelle is in the game, along with Schuler. 3rd and 11. Let's see who moves first. Pepper Johnson comes out of there with the football, but that's not going to work.
Yeah, no. No.
Ball start.
It's against the Eagles. So they'll look at 3rd and 16.
You know, against most teams, Skip, you look at 3rd and 16, you say, okay, we're going to take away the wide receivers and force the quarterback to throw the ball to a back. But the hard part in these downs is defending Randall Cunningham, because you have to defend all 11 people. He's like another receiver out there. It's almost every play is like a quarterback draw, or can be, with Randall Cunningham.
Byers, a bruised hip, went to the locker room, should be back. 3rd and 16. Pressure, completion at the 20-yard line. Calvin Williams is well short of the first down. Everson Walls ran him out of bounds.
You know, a tough situation for Randall Cunningham on 3rd and 16. You got a full-out blitz. You know you need the 16 yards, and what you're trying to do here with Calvin Williams, the rookie, is to hope that he can catch it on the move, run away from the defender, and pick up the first down, but he wasn't able to do that because the ball was behind him.
Roger Ruzak will try the 37-yard field goal. Jeff Fiegels will hold. And we have a 6-3 ball game. Philadelphia uses a giant turnover to bounce right back into the game. And while we have a moment, let's look at some of the other scores. The Bears look great in their game. The Rams really crippled. Packers look good.
Yeah, the Packer defense look awfully good, and the Cardinals are well on the way to getting the #1 draft pick next year.
Vinny Testaverde, a big day. The Redskins, as expected, breezed by the Cardinals. Boy, those Falcons.
Yeah, how about, and also the Chiefs too, Skip. I think they're going to give Denver a run for it out in the AFC West, and the Raiders, I'd say, over the Broncos. That's a surprise to me.
And the Cowboys have already won as many as they did last year, and all the details on the Nissan halftime show coming up. And some more scores. The Bengals really had to fight for their lives in that game.
The Patriots.
You're surprised by the Browns win, aren't you?
Yeah, I really am. Absolutely. I thought the Steelers were really going to contend in the Central. You see the Patriots losing to the Dolphins, but I think the story there for the Patriots is Steve Grogan. In his 16th year, starts for the Patriots. You know, they've had 3 stadium changes. The name has changed up in Foxborough 3 times since he has been the quarterback there.
You've probably changed law firms 5 times since he started.
Yeah, and I'm still billing $250 an hour, and you're going to get a bill after the game.
I know that. Hampton and Meggett are the deep men. Capacity crowd here, and they're loving it. In Giant Stadium. I don't know why we say capacity crowd. That's a given.
Yeah.
Roger Ruzak will kick it off. 6-3 is our score. We're in the final minute of quarter number 1. Beautiful kick. Meggett at the 2. At the 22. David Bailey, defensive end, made the stop, and a good one it was, and New York does not have good field position this time. 1st and 10 at the 22-yard line. We have 50 seconds remaining in our first quarter. Pat Haden, Skip Carey with you from the Meadowlands.
Well, Bill Sims thus far has really not been able to get in the rhythm. They've gotten 6 points, but they've been after turnovers that his defense created. And it just goes to show you how good the Eagle defense is. It's tough to get into a rhythm running or throwing the ball against these guys.
Rodney Hampton, the lone setback. And there's a carry for Hampton, and he lunges forward, makes a little out of very little, and crosses the 25-yard line.
Yeah, I think if you're going to beat the Eagles, you have to have some 30 and 40-yard drives after turnovers, and that's what we've seen. And there's Lawrence Taylor and Everson Walls with the defensive coordinator, Bill Belichick.
Hampton and Carthon now in the game behind Sims. We have 18 seconds, as you see, remaining in the period. For Hampton at the 30. Did he hold on? Yes. Jesse Small made the stop.
Now, this is the third time they've thrown this route. The first two times he was wide open, and Phil Simms overthrew him. That time, Rodney Hampton made a nice catch.
And the first quarter comes to a close. At the end of one, your score. The Giants 6, the Eagles 3. We'll be back right after this. We go to the second quarter. Third down, 3 yards to go for the Giants. Giants look a little confused here.
They're calling an audible now.
Out of the shotgun, Simms throws for it. He has Meggett, but he is wrapped up well shy of the first down.
Boy, that was a nice sequence of plays. First, Phil Simms saw the blitz. He called an audible. And then Wes Hopkins on defense, he saw that Simms was calling an audible, so he called the blitz off. You see, that was a nice defensive play by Wes Hopkins, who was in charge of calling the blitz off. They went to a zone, and Phil Simms just dumped the ball off, and now they have to punt.
Frizzell the stop. John Landetta will kick it from the 24-yard line. Mike Bellamy, the rookie, the deep man at the 19. He got a seam and reached the 40-yard line. Greg Jackson made the stop. Good return by Bellamy. 52-yard kick, 21-yard return, and the Eagles find themselves in good field position. We'll be back after this from your local spot commercials. By the way, that shot coming to you from the Goodyear Blimp Spirit of Akron, but that shot is coming to you from the Goodyear Blimp Spirit of Akron. At the controls, Captain Pat Henry from Parsons, West Virginia. Philadelphia goes to work at their 40-yard line. Quick wide left, Williams to the right. Drummond and Tony the running backs. Cunningham had it slip away. Incomplete pass, second down.
Yeah, you know, I think what Randall Cunningham saw there was Myron Guyton, the free safety, who maybe was going to make a play on the throw. Randall Cunningham was going to throw this ball into the left flat, but Myron Guyton began, he was going to make the play on it. And actually, that's a heads-up play by Randall Cunningham, not throwing that ball.
Quick left, Williams right. Drummond, Tony behind Cunningham. Schuler in the slot and in motion. Cunningham had Schuler, and he got sacked at the 28-yard line. Lawrence Taylor was there.
You know, the amazing thing about this sack by Lawrence Taylor, really, he was blocked early on by 2 players. But give this sack to the defensive backfield of the Giants, because Randall Cunningham had nowhere to go. But it started out, Lawrence Taylor was blocked by 2 guys, 1 and then 2. Schuler, number 85, was the second man. But again, this guy just keeps coming.
Eric Dorsey in on that too. Excuse me, Pat.
Yeah, they set each other up. Lawrence Taylor, Eric Dorsey, Leonard Marshall, they all set each other up.
Third and 22 from the 29. And movement by the Giants. It looked like maybe Eric Howard jumped too soon, but we'll let Gordon McCarter. Yeah, that's going to be what it is. Offside against the Giants. But still long yardage.
74, defense, 5 yards, still third down.
So now it's 3rd and 17 from the 34.
You know, Bill Parcells was saying, hey, I don't want my offense in 3rd and long because we aren't very good against the Eagles. Well, thus far tonight, it's been the Eagles that really faced the long yardage situations.
Quick left, Drummond right on 3rd and long. Cunningham has a lot of field in front of him. Now he throws, has a man. looks like Schuler. It is Schuler. And enough for the first down, and a big play by Cunningham there. And again, he was able to avoid the rush. 24-yard gain.
You know, and it was really Carl Banks who was really put in a bind there by Randall Cunningham. And, you know, we said that it's fun watching Randall Cunningham play. He looks like he has fun when he's playing. See 58 right there in the middle of your screen? Carl Banks doesn't know whether to come up and try to stop him or stay back in coverage, so he does a little bit of both, and that's why Mickey Schuler was wide open.
First down at the 42. Suddenly Philadelphia beginning to dominate the game a bit. He's going to put it up again. Banks missed it. He throws and completes it to Quick out of bounds at the 34.
Well, Carl Banks came in unblocked, but Randall Cunningham has that sense of where people are, a feel for the game that you just don't coach. Again, just a little spin move there. And I think one of the more remarkable things about Randall Cunningham is a lot of guys, when they're scrambling around, just get so concerned about bodies, they start to run and just take off and don't see wide open receivers like Mike Quick was there. So Cunningham not only gets out of trouble, but he finds players downfield.
Quick left, Williams right. 2nd and 2 from the 33. Straight ahead, Tony, first down at the 30.
Anytime you can run the ball up the middle like that, it must mean your center, David Alexander, is doing a good job on the nose tackle. And Andrew Toney's had 3 of those runs thus far tonight right up the middle. That's really the only big success they've had running the football.
Harper LaBelle checks out of the game for Philadelphia. Eagles go back to work. Again, he'll throw. Taylor had him. They're going to say in the grass. Cunningham is upset, but Taylor gets the sack back at the 38-yard line.
Yeah, you know, the in the grass rule helps a guy like Phil Simms, but not a guy like Randall Cunningham. Because Randall Cunningham there gets away and perhaps makes another big play. But you said it starts by blocking Lawrence Taylor. Nobody even came close. He's too quick for that tackle, Matt Darwin, to come out and get him. It's grass and control. You know, he had him in grass. I wasn't sure really that he had control of him. You know, he was definitely in the grass, but I don't think he was in the control.
So perhaps a break for the Giants. Quick left, Williams right. Byers back in the game and in the pattern and gets the pass at the 30 and fights to the 26-yard line. Carl Banks on the stop. He's well shy of the first down.
Yeah, that's a nice play by the Eagles, because you were in 2nd and forever, and you don't try to get it all back in one big gulp. Because again, it's a 3-point game. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a 4th quarter game. So you get yourself a reasonable chance to get this down. If you don't, you kick the field goal.
3rd and 6 from the 26. Cunningham, 7 of 11, 72 yards, 2 interceptions. He'll throw for it. He looks to Byers. He's got him at the 20, breaks a tackle out at the 18. Banks ran him out after Doerson missed it. First down.
You know, most big backs don't have the kind of soft hands that Keith Byers has. You know, he's 240 pounds, but you shake his hand and you don't think you're going to get it back. At first, he's got huge hands, and they're awfully soft. And he makes catching the ball look awfully easy, but the first thing he does is run good routes. He runs away from defenders and gets open.
Byers 4 catches, 36 yards. Tony in motion. Now Byers is the running back. He's going to throw. He's got Tony. Touchdown. $18 yards, and the Eagles have the first touchdown of the game and the lead.
You know, that is a nice drive the Philadelphia Eagles had there. They had a little bit of everything, including the trick play. Keith Byers has caught the ball tonight, and he didn't have a whole lot of time. He feels a little bit like Randall Cunningham under the rush, but Anthony Toney was wide open, and that means that's a good scouting job, a good call by the Eagle staff.
Eagles will hold. Ruzek will kick. And the Eagles, with a nice drive led by Cunningham, take the lead. 59 yards, 9 plays. Philadelphia bounces on top by 4. We'll be back to the Meadowlands right after this. The concept in NFL coverage continues next Sunday night at 7 o'clock Eastern with the Stadium Show. A fact-filled hour as host Fred Hickman brings you all the scores and highlights of the NFL's first week and more. Then at 8 o'clock, live from Three Rivers Stadium, the Oilers take on the Steelers in an AFC Central battle. Next Sunday night, only on TNT. Ruzek will kick it off, and the deep men are Rodney Hampton and Dave Meggett for the Giants, who led 6-0, now trail 10-6. Roger Ruzek approaches the football. Oh, that's high. Meggett again at the 6. The return is to the left, but not much room. He's down at the 24-yard line. Among those on the stop, Wes Hopkins.
You know, football, offensive football is about sequencing of plays, I think, and the Philadelphia Eagles on that drive really sequenced their plays awfully well. They ran the ball up the middle, Cunningham had a couple of scrambles, and then you saw the touchdown here. You're going to see Andrew Toney right here, who's going to make the, you'll see all the flow by these players here, and then Andrew Toney goes in motion, and Myron Guyton, the free safety, number 29, gets completely fooled, but it was set up. It was set up by some runs and plays by Cunningham.
Back live, Sims to Rodney Hampton, breaks the tackle, but is wrapped up at the 30-yard line. And on the stop, Ben Smith, the youngster out of Georgia, the rookie.
Now, this is an important series, I think, for this Giant defense, because what they have now is back the momentum back. You have Randall Cunningham, who's back in the rhythm. He's feeling better about his game. They have the 4-point lead. You know, you stuff the Giants here, you force the punt, and you give another chance.
By the way, that was Byers' second career touchdown pass. He had one to Quick in '87. Again, Hampton, the single setback behind Sims. Carthon goes in motion. Sims has a man. Carthon at the 40, at the 43-yard line. The hit was made by Izell Jenkins, a 17-yard gain and a first down.
Not to be outdone by Keith Byers' trickery. They come right back to Maurice Carthon. And these kind of plays, this touchdown by the Eagles and this little slip and sneak play here by Maurice Carthon, I think are good plays against an aggressive defense. You have a defense like the Eagles that likes to get upfield, they like to pursue, they go for play action fakes, but when you do, something like that happens. Maurice Carthon comes wide open in the flat.
Odessa Turner wide left. He's the only wide out. Hampton with the ball, cuts back and drives across the 45, close to the 48-yard line. Clyde Simmons involved in the stop, along with Jesse Small for the Eagles.
I think one of the secrets for Rodney Hampton this preseason was he got to camp on time. There's a #1 draft pick, and everybody else is holding out, but he said, hey, I'm going to get to camp on time. It was actually just 2 days late, really. But he got there, was there for all 4 preseason games, and made a major contribution. And the coaches feel like, hey, he's a proven quantity now. We know what we got. We got a very good #1 draft pick.
Carthon in motion again. Hampton stays in the block. The throw is to Howard Cross, and he really got blasted. He was nailed by Wes Hopkins, I think.
Yeah, you're right. No, Wes Hopkins did nail him. You know, earlier in the game, we saw Wes Hopkins use his head and call a blitz off. There you saw the physical play by Wes Hopkins. And wasn't Buddy Ryan telling Kevin Kiley in that interview that I like smart and physical players? Well, that's what he has in Wes Hopkins.
That may be the answer to Kevin's question of why he got cut. He wasn't smart, he wasn't physical.
Oh, you're a cruel man.
New York 0 for 4 on 3rd down conversions. It's 3rd and 7. He's got no, he dropped it. Meggett had a touchdown in his sights. The ball went off his fingertip. Don't blame Sims, he got it right there.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Dave Meggett, you know, 1,800 all-purpose yards last year. He gets them on kickoff returns, punt returns, and they like him in the seams. They want to get the ball to him on the move, moving upfield. And he knows that's a golden opportunity that he loses. That's a touchdown.
Landetta kicks it away. Bellamy calls for a fair catch and makes it at the 8-yard line. He might have been better advised to take his chances and let that bounce. So bad field position for Philadelphia. Flag on the play, so hold the phone just a moment. Let's see about this penalty before we do anything. They're going to call this whole thing back. Philadelphia starts from the 23. We'll tell you why in a moment. The give is to Robert Drummond, and he gets to the 25-yard line. A gain of 2. After we went away, we found that there was a penalty flag. Holding was called. The Giants had to kick again. Calvin Williams returned to the 23. And now it's 2nd and 8 from the 25-yard line for Philadelphia.
And there's Phil Simms talking to Ron Earhart, his offensive coordinator, saying, hey, we found Dave Meggett open down the middle. We missed him once. I overthrew him. One time he dropped it. Let's not make sure we get it called again.
Quick is wide right. Calvin Williams in the slot. Drummond and Tony are the running backs. Flags all over the place. Looks like a handkerchief convention. Let's see who moved first.
False start, center. Jerking the ball. 5 yards, still 2nd down.
You know, the key to that when that happens, if you're a defensive lineman, is to make sure everybody points at the right guy. And there's Bellamy, who had the ill-advised fair catch inside the 10.
Looks like a
groin or hamstring.
Cramp, maybe. 2nd and 13 at the 21 for Philadelphia. Drummond and Tony still the running back. Williams in motion. The pass is to Drummond, and he is buried. Whoa, what an outstanding play by Pepper Johnson. He got there in a hurry.
You know, you're right. And Pepper Johnson is one of the more versatile guys on this Giant defense because he'll play inside linebacker, and he can go out and play defensive end for you in pass rushing situations. But he's also a good coverage right here, left of the screen, number 52. Watch his eyes, first of all. He reads the screen very quickly. There, it gets out there before Ron Solt, the offensive guard, can block him and puts the stop on him.
Illegal motion penalty declined by the Giants, of course. Marshall is checked into the game, and that brings a response from the crowd, and so does the fact that Philadelphia faces a 3rd and 19 from the 19. He's got protection. Complete, but well short of the first down. Mickey Schuler caught it at about the 23-yard line, and Philadelphia will kick it away. Jeff Fiegels into the game out of Miami. Dave Meggett out of Towson State will return it.
Well, this game has gone pretty much according to script. It's been defense, it's been turnovers. You know, there's 5 minutes left in the half, and it's a 4-point game, and it should be a 4th quarter game.
Fiegels gets it away, and another fine kick. He kicks it a mile high. Meggett backs up and fields at his 22. Beats one man, but can't beat them all. And down he goes at the 30-yard line. The stop was made by Harper LaBelle. So the Giants will start from their 30 with 4:54 remaining in the first half. 10-6 is our score. The Eagles have the lead, and we'll be back to the middle. Hampton, the running back. The Giants trail by 4. Hampton bolts his way for about 4 yards. Let's see where they mark it. Close to the 34-yard line.
Did you see Eric Moore, the right guard, number 60, pull there? I'll tell you, Eric Moore, number 60, the right guard for the Giants, is the guy who could do an awful lot for you. Even though he's tall for a guard, he's 6'5", and you usually like him right there, number 60. He'll pull. But he can get low, he can trap. He's very good short yardage blocker. Very versatile offensive guard is Eric Moore.
Seth Joyner made that stop on 2nd down. Hampton, the sole running back. Simms will throw. Has Hampton in the flat. Gets him the ball. He's covered. Breaks one tackle. Gets absolutely nothing. Terry Hogue out of Georgia made the stop. 2 Georgia boys collided there.
And did Phil Simms get kissed? I think it was actually Mike Pitts who did most of the kissing there. Again, you have to get rid of the ball quickly. and it was Pitts. But this is what Sims does so well, Skip. He'll take hits like that first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, but it's awfully hard to get Phil Sims out of the game. You can't deliver the knockout punch, and he's awfully good in the fourth quarter.
Stephen Baker wide left, Ingram wide right. Shotgun formation, 3rd and 9 from the 31. Sims chased out of the pocket. He throws, has a man, Hampton at the 40, 45, 49, flag on the play. Way back where the pass was unloaded. Let's see what it is, holding against the Giants.
Yeah, I think it was John Elliott kind of gave the Heimlich maneuver to Clyde Simmons. He had a hold of him, believe me.
So what would have been a first down is
76 offense, 10 yards, repeat 3rd down.
And Pat, as is normally the case, is right. It was John Elliott.
Yeah. Left side of the screen, Elliott's number 76. You see he's got a little, he's got the lock on his face mask, his shoulder pads, his jersey. I mean, he kind of held him 3 different ways there.
Gave him a definite Hulk Hogan. So now it's 3rd and 19 from the 21. Stephen Baker wide left, Hampton wide right. Well, Hampton runs off the field, in fact, to the right side. Baker goes long left. Sims looking, throwing, threw it away. Intended for Meggett, they'll have to kick.
Got the penalty down. I think there's some linemen downfield there.
Yeah, there were.
Yeah,
William Roberts was downfield, it looked like. They'll declare. You see Reggie White saying we decline.
Ineligible downfield, number 60 offense. Penalty decline, 4th down.
Calvin Williams will be the deep man. He stands at his 39-yard line. Sean Landetta out of Towson State will kick it away. The Giants have been stopped cold here since the first 8 minutes of the game. Steve Diassi, the long snapper for New York. The kick is away. Williams will make the carry. He fumbles the ball. Wild scramble. It goes out of bounds. Will belong to the Eagles.
Now, you know, the Eagles have tried 2 different rookies on punt returns tonight. First, it was Mike Bellamy, who made an ill-advised fair catch inside the 10. And then it's Calvin Williams, another rookie draft pick out of Purdue. That just went right off his face mask. Yeah, that hit his face mask and bounced off.
And it was Raina Thompson, number 21 for the Giants, who almost came away with that football.
Yeah, you know,
Parcells says he's sensational.
Yeah, Raina Thompson, number 21. You're right, Skibby. He's the guy Bill Parcells said won 2 games for us last year on special teams.
He said, I'm not going to call him great, but he's better than good. But the Eagles have the ball, and they have it in great field position. Williams wide left, quick to the right. Drummond and Tony are the running backs. Williams in motion. Play action. Cunningham directs some traffic and threw it a little bit behind Quick, who thinks he should have had it. And he's probably right.
Yeah, well, I think actually Quick is kind of upset that the ball wasn't out in front of him, because he catches that one, Skip, and he is moving, he's running away, really running away from the defender. Now this time, terrific protection for Randall Cunningham as he was waving Mike Quick through the defense. And that's great protection. No one's there blocking his vision. And again, you see, Quick makes that catch, and he's off to the races. That ball needs to be out in front of him. And that's what they need from Mike Quick this year, some big plays.
Byers is back in the game and wide right. Tony, the sole running back. Cunningham, quick and out of bounds, right at midfield. Terry Williams, one of those who ran him out. That stops the clock with 2:01 remaining in the first half.
You know, Keith Jackson's not here, but his replacement, Mickey Schuler, number 85, left of the screen. He is now blocking Lawrence Taylor. And they both have a hold of one another, but that's a nice job by Schuler. His 13th year, had a very nice career with the Jets.
And they start the clock, and we have reached the 2-minute warning. Philadelphia has the ball, and they have a 10-6 lead. 2 minutes left. There's the story. It's 3rd and 3 from the 49-yard line in Giants territory for the Eagles. Cunningham will throw for it. Well, Byers dropped it. Again, it was behind him. He had to sort of switch his body around. But he feels that he should have had it. A break for New York, and Philadelphia will give up the pigskin.
Boy, that really is a break, because you had exactly what you wanted. You had Keith Byers, who's really ordinarily a sensational receiver, and you have him wide open. Now, the ball was thrown behind him, and that's ordinarily a ball Byers will catch, but most importantly, you have to punt the ball and give Phil Simms a chance to score with 1:55 remaining in the half.
Jeff Feagles will kick it. Dave Meggett will try to return it. Ah, boy, he can kick it. Fair catch called by Meggett, and he makes the play at the 12-yard line. Halftime will be approaching us soon, and to let you know what's going to be happening at halftime, let's go to a man who obviously stole one of Rick Barry's ties, Fred Hickman. Fred?
Barry should have such good taste, Skip. Thank you very much. Yeah, Larry King is here, Kevin Kiley's here, Craig Sager's here, the whole Stadium Show family. We'll be back at halftime with the Nissan Halftime Report to talk about all kinds of things, a Paul Ryden original, and much, much more. But I have to tell you that it's a terrific ball game so far. We're all very pleased with it. We're also going to find out about Kevin Kiley's Team of the 90s. Wait till you hear it. You'll drop your teeth. It'll be tremendous. So come on back and join us for the Nissan Halftime Report right here in the parking lot of Giant Stadium. We're having a ball.
You know, Skip, I thought we said no clip-on ties in this group.
Oh.
Yeah.
You'll hear from him now. The Giants go to work. Carthon in motion to the left. Simms to throw. Screen pass. With it, Lewis Tillman.
Oh, yeah.
Loose football. Eagles have it. No touchdown. Let's see what they mark it did. And the ball still belongs to New York. And that does not please Seth Joyner, who thought he had 6.
The Eagles win games with turnovers, and they create an awful lot of them. And a little screen pass, you're going to see Byron Evans, number 56, get the hit, then Mike Pitts, number 74. Pitts is the one who really caused the fumble. I'm not so sure that wasn't a fumble.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that again if we can, but we can't right now, for the Giants come to work.
Yeah.
2nd and 12 on the 11-yard line. Big break for New York. This time they keep it on the ground. Lewis Tillman with it again, and he gets to the 18-yard line. Let's look at that fumble or no fumble again.
You know, I thought on the first replay, I thought it was a fumble. Yeah, that's a fumble.
It came out before he hit the ground.
Definitely a fumble, and that should be a touchdown for the Eagles. There's no doubt. You know, I'm surprised that one didn't get reviewed. But that should have been a touchdown for the Eagles.
28 seconds remaining, and the way things are going, New York will be happy to just let this thing run down. They started like a house of fire, but the Eagle defense has really shackled them since the first 8 minutes.
Really, I think both defenses really have played pretty well.
Simms to throw. He dumps it off. Incomplete. It comes with 5 seconds left.
Yeah, now you go for a punt block, maybe.
He'd have been better off just to take a sack there, wouldn't he?
Yeah, now you go for the punt block, I think.
Mike Bellamy is the deep man. Sean Landetta will kick it away. Sure, you got nothing to lose if you rough the kicker, so what?
Except if you're the kicker.
Well, that's well, you can see Simms not happy with the way things are going. Bellamy signals fair catch, drops it again. Philadelphia's lucky again. And the half has come to a close. And the crowd is booing the Giants, but they should really be cheering a great Philadelphia defensive effort, and it's still anybody's game. The Giants scored the first 6, the Eagles the last 10. So at halftime, it's 10-6 Philadelphia. We'll be back after this from your local sponsors.
In the NFL, but not here when the Eagles and Giants play one another.
Ruzak lets her rip. Meggett at the 2. He breaks a tackle and fights his way to the 30-yard line. LaBelle Harper made the stop. Calvin Williams was there as well. 28-yard return.
Now take a look at the halftime stats, Skip, and the thing that's really critical, I think, the passing yards. The Giants only have 37 yards. Not one wide receiver has caught a pass tonight, and they're 0 for 6 on 3rd down. And again, that really tells the story of how good the Eagles defense is, particularly on 3rd down.
Tillman and Carthon are the running backs as Simms brings them out. He's going to run. Pitts is after him. Pitts has got him for a loss loss of a yard. Mike Pitts the stop.
Well, you know, Pitts caused the fumble there. Pitts makes the sack right there. You know, you look at Mike Pitts and you worry so much about Reggie White and Jerome Brown. You say, I'm going to double team Reggie White and I'm going to double team Jerome Brown. And then Mike Pitts has a big day against you, and he's had that thus far tonight.
Phil Simms probably saying that's the Pitts. I apologize.
Oh,
Second.
No, he'd never say something
11.
like that.
Hampton and Meggett are the running backs. Meggett split wide right. Ingram starts in motion. Draw play. Hampton, 30-yard line, fights his way forward close to the 35. Seth Joyner, the linebacker out of Texas El Paso, made the stop.
You know, you talk about Seth Joyner, number 59, the linebacker for the Eagles. And he was a guy Bill Parcells and his staff was concerned about, because Seth Joyner can do a lot of things with this Eagle defense. He plays over the tight end. He'll shuck the tight end. Then he'll drop back in pass coverage. He stays in on nickel defense. Does a lot.
4 wideouts in the game for the Giants. Possession play, 3rd and 5. Simms has time, has a man complete. It's Odessa Turner across midfield, out of bounds at the 47. Ben Smith ran him out, but not before. The Giants pick up their first down in a while.
Yeah, and the first reception by a Giant wide receiver, and that's Odessa Turner. You know, there's a lot of small receivers out in the league now, and it seems to be kind of the vogue in the run and shoot. But what you like about Odessa Turner, he's a big receiver. He's 6'3", he's 205 pounds. He'll go over the middle for you. He can break tackles.
Meggett wide right. Mark Ingram wide left. Turner in the slot left. Simms to put it up. He has time. Complete. It's Hampton. Breaks the tackle. Great move. Inside the 35-yard line.
You know, Rodney Hampton, his change of direction speed is what makes Rodney Hampton special, and his vision. I mean, he has a sense of where he is, where other people are on the field. Now, they knew he was a good runner, the Giants did, when they drafted one. What they've really been surprised with has been his receiving and his blocking.
Jerome Brown is the Philadelphia player shaken up on the play, but he's on his feet now.
Yeah, I tell you, you play against Jerome Brown for 4 quarters, and it's like one major root canal. I mean, you know, you were talking about man.
You were talking about Seth Joyner a moment ago. All Buddy Ryan says about him is he's the best linebacker in the NFL. That's
you're right.
A pretty good statement. I don't know if everyone would agree, but he must be a very good one.
Number 99 in the middle of your screen looks like he just kind of jammed his right knee into the ground. He doesn't wear many pads. No thigh pads, small shoulder pads.
Mike Golick in to take his place. From the 35, 1st and 10 for the Giants. The give is to Lewis Tillman. Nothing there. He gets perhaps 3. Reggie White in on the stop.
Well, that was a nice play by Reggie White. At first it looked like Doug Riesenberg, the right tackle, had him blocked. But he just kind of pushed the pile, pushed Riesenberg back into the play, and then made this out. Watch 72. Riesenberg actually comes around on Seth Joyner. And then Seth Joyner comes off that block, and it's Joyner and Reggie White making the play.
Another Eagle is down on the deck. And a timeout is going to be called here by Gordon McCarter. So we'll check on the injured player and be back after this. It comes from your local sponsor. Injured player not seriously hurt, out of the game. The pass is low, intended for Howard Cross.
I think that ball got tipped, actually, Skip.
Reggie does come right back into the game.
You know, the guy we haven't seen much tonight is Mark Bavaro for the Giants. He has not caught a ball. I don't think he's really had one thrown his way. Number 89, right there, going off the field on the 3rd and 8 situation. But he was a guy that Bill Parcells was saying, hey, I am glad Mark Bavaro was back. He's a big weapon for us, but they've taken him away.
Otis Anderson gained 1,000 yards for this team last year and has played very little. It's 3rd and 6, possession play. Ingram in motion. Simms from the shotgun. He looks to his deep man, and he's got him at the 12-yard line. Lionel Manuel. 19-yard gain. First down, Giants.
Well, and that's a nice catch by Lionel Manuel. You know, it starts with protection. Sims gets that. Then he have a nice throw. And then you have a guy coming right across the middle and catching the ball with his hands. And then you have a happy quarterback.
First down, Tillman and Carthon, the deep men. Sims is going to throw for it. Incomplete.
Oh, what a nice play by Hogue. Terry Hogue, number 34, read that pattern beautifully. And, you know, that comes with experience. Some guys do it with ability. Terry Hogue, I think, does it as much with his head. Studying films, recognizing patterns, and using his chin. You know, sometimes you knock them down with your hands, your shoulder pads, and sometimes with your chin.
Odessa Turner was the intended receiver. It's second down, 10 yards to go from the 12.
You know, the Giants, or the Eagles, just came in with their substitution defense, and again, that's with a no huddle. If you had a no huddle, that would prevent that from happening.
Hampton and Carthon, now the running backs for New York. Sims to throw. Hampton, 5. Touchdown. Listen.
You know, Skip, when you were in grammar school, you said to the guy in the backfield, you go down 10 yards and break out. And the Giants have run the same route about 5 times tonight. Every time Rodney Hampton has been open.
Look at him extend to get into that end zone.
Yeah.
Allegre will kick it. Hostetler will hold it. The Giants have reclaimed the lead.
The play is being reviewed.
Now they're going to review the play.
Well, they're going to see if he got into the end zone. But what happened, Wes Hopkins actually slipped, Skip. Wes Hopkins, the defensive back, fell down, and Rodney Hampton was wide open.
Chuck Heverling is reviewing the tape up here.
Just rule.
Touchdown. After the review, the play stands. Not much doubt about it.
No doubt there.
Hostetler holds for Allegre. The Giants have reclaimed the lead. 70-yard drive. And we'll be back right after this. It's 13-10 Giants. Roger Vick will return it to the 15-yard line, gets to the 16. Raina Thompson, that whirling dervish on special teams, made the stop.
You know, Skip, good teams on drives use different people to get it done. First, Phil Sims to set up the touchdown. It was a nice throw over Lionel Manuel. It was good protection, great throw, terrific catch by Manuel. And then they come back, and it's Rodney Hampton who's run the same simple route at least 6 times all night and been open every time. But nice sequencing of plays by the Giants.
Calvin Williams wide right. Drummond and Tony the running back. Schuler in motion. Nothing for Tony, though. He keeps battling. May have gotten a yard.
Did you see Pepper Johnson there? Pepper Johnson makes a stop early on.
Myron Guyton there as well.
Yeah, then he jumps over the top.
They're on their feet here at Giant Stadium. As you see, they're loving it. Second down and about 9.
13-10 Giants. Again, it's been defense, it's been line play, it's been turnovers.
Byers back into the game. Second and long. Cunningham. It's Tony at the 20. Pepper Johnson wraps him up. Lawrence Taylor was there as well. So was Banks. Boy, they got some good linebackers.
Boy, they do. And you know,
both these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, Skip, these teams this year have that week off, and I think both of them are going to be ready for it next week. They don't get it. But after a game like this, you wish you had the next week off.
3rd and 4 from the 22. Quick, wide right. Williams in the slot to the right side. Byers and Tony in the backfield. Possession play for Cunningham. He throws long, knocked loose, incomplete. Boy, what an effort. Perry Williams was there first.
Yeah, but
It was intended for Schuler.
Yeah, he was open, too. Mickey Schuler was open. Now, this ball was underthrown, and that gave Perry Williams the chance, but if Randall Cunningham throws that over the defensive back, that's a catch for Schuler.
Back live, the kick away by Fiegels. Nugget will field it at the 32. He's got some room. He gets the block. He's got one man to beat. It's Fiegels. He beat it. Touchdown, New York. Listen to this crowd.
You know, Dave Megan can beat you a lot of ways, but you get the nice block by Dewerson, number 26 there in the middle of your screen. But this guy last year had the big plays on kickoffs, punt returns out of the backfield. And even though he's a small man by size, 5'7", 180 pounds, he can play the game very physically. But I thought the key block there really was by Dave Dewerson. The acquisition, number 26, the acquisition from the Bears. You're going to see him make a block right there. Yeah, Dewerson led the way for Dave Megan.
Sammy Lilly shaken up on the play. A play before, Byers came limping out again. He may be through for the night. So suddenly the Eagles in desperate straits. What a run by Megan.
Yeah, you know, Dave Megan has that kind of ability that makes you stand up and cheer. And every time he touches the ball, there's a tremendous sense of anticipation here at Giant Stadium.
Raul Alegre will try the point. 68-yard punt return by Dave Megan. 2 TDs and 156 for New York. We'll be back after this from your local sponsor. End of the hour for the Giants. Megan being worked on a little bit. Fred Barnett is the deep man in the middle. He is flanked by Roger Vick and Calvin Williams. Alegre will approach the ball. Good kick, and it will be Fred Barnett at the 1. Boom. Does he get buried? Bobby Abrams, a linebacker from Michigan, really let him have his shot.
You have seen some very nice special teams tonight. And you know, special teams really set the tempo for the defense or offense when they come out. Barnett, who's got some pretty good speed, but no chance really to get it going, as number 51 Abrams just clobbers him. But that sets the tempo for the crowd and the defense.
Boy, the crowd's in it now from the 18. Randall Cunningham goes to work. Schuler in motion. The pitch back. Tony got maybe one. Man, look at it. 4, 5, 6 men in on the stop.
Pepper Johnson is going crazy.
Greg Jackson in there as well. Philadelphia needs to get something going here. Byers bruised his hip again.
And he's a player, particularly without Keith Jackson, the Eagles need. They've thrown a couple of balls to Mike Quick. They need to get something deep to Mike Quick. And they also need Keith Byers back in the game.
2nd down, 9 yards to go from the 20. Cunningham will put it up. He beats one man, beats another, is hit again. And down he goes at the 21-yard line. Carl Banks finally got it.
Yeah, it was Lawrence Taylor who chased him out of the pocket, Skip, and then Lawrence Taylor who knocked the ball out of his hands. you know, still at age 31, Lawrence Taylor, I think, is the icon of what football is about. Determined, tough, a strength of will. He just never stops. He never quits, and that's why Bill Parcells didn't want to play him a lot in the first half, because he doesn't know how to pace himself.
Third down, they say a long 7 from the 22. Cunningham will throw for it if he can. He's got time. He completes it out to the 37-yard line. Calvin Williams with the reception. Enough for a first down, a 15-yard gain, and that's a big reception for Philly.
You're right. Randall Cunningham, in his 6th year now, has to, you know, football's a game about overcoming other teams' big plays. And Cunningham has done that here. The crowd's against him. The Giants are hot. They've just returned a punt for a touchdown, and he faces, you know, a long yardage situation, and he throws the ball right in there for the first down. That's a big play for Randall Cunningham.
Boy, and a good play by Everson Walls. Great concentration by the receiver. First down, 35-yard line. Cunningham runs out of it. He's got nowhere to go. He loses 5.
Guess who made the stop?
LT.
Yeah.
He has turned training camp into a myth, a joke.
There's something about Lawrence Taylor that is larger than life. I tell you what, it's the way he plays. 2 guys try to block him there, and 2 guys fail. I thought that one of the most telling things was before the game, the Eagle rookies came out, and every one of them were looking for number 56. And some guys can get headlines whether they're in camp or not in camp. You know, maybe the first since Joe Namath, but Lawrence Taylor is one of those kinds of guys, always in the headlines.
Williams wide right, quick in the slot to that side. Second down, 15 to go. Taylor out of the game for a breather. Another blitz. Raina Thompson comes in and hammers Cunningham. He's out of Baylor. They love him. 5th-year player.
Raina Thompson, we talked about him as a special teams player. He said he won 2 games, but this is an emotionally charged Giant defense right now. You've got Pepper Johnson making the move. You got Eric Howard, number 74. You have your nickelback Thompson making the play.
3rd and 23 from the 23. Schuler out of the game. Fred Barnett checks in. Calvin Williams wide right, quick wide left. Barnett in the slot to the right side. Cunningham, incomplete. Man, it was intended for Williams, and he got buried by Guyton. Listen to this crowd as the Giant defense holds. Eagles will kick it. Dave Meckett, who just ran one back 68, will have another chance. Fair catch. Good field position at the 37-yard line. The Giants lead by 10. They have the ball. 5:42 left, 3rd quarter. Of Akron, inflated with more than 247,000 cubic feet of helium, more than a television producer. Maximum speed 64 miles an hour. And we thank them for their help. From the 37, Sims will throw for it. Hawthorne didn't get much. He was hit, and hit hard by the Eagles' Wes Hopkins.
Well, I tell you, he got a hand injury there, but John Elliott, the left tackle for the Giants, did a terrific job of blocking that time on Clyde Simmons. Wow.
5:15 remaining in our 3rd quarter.
Blocking, pass blocking is a little bit like, you know, wrestling a guy in a hallway. You don't have much room, and you got a lot of weight in front of you. It's tough.
Cross in motion. Sims gives Rodney hits, and boy, did he get buried. Mike Pitts again. He is playing a terrific game for Philadelphia. Stopped him colder than a mackerel.
Mike Pitts is coming off his best season as an Eagle. Number 74 right there in the middle of your screen. He gets off a little late, but he's not blocked long. He just sheds the block of Eric Moore, the guard, number 60, and he's there to make the play. And those guys are quick inside, because not only do you have a big body on you, you have to get rid of the big body and then find the ball carrier. Pitts did it there.
Third down, possession play. It's 3rd and 9. Ingram in motion. Sims out of the shotgun is pressure and has to throw it away. Applying the pressure for Philadelphia, William Frizzell.
You know, Skip, that was an important defensive series for the Giants. I mean, for the Eagles. Because they had just, the Giants had just come back from a big defensive series. The crowd was in it. Sims was hot. And then the Eagle defense did their job, and now it's up to Randall Cunningham.
Andre Waters now the deep man for Philadelphia.
Tried everybody back there, haven't they?
Sean Landetta will kick it away. Line drive kick. Waters coming over. This is going to bounce for a while and bounce out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Landetta not too thrilled with that. And that's where Philadelphia will set up shop. As TNT begins our inaugural season of NFL coverage, we'd like to salute the Hyundai Dealers of America, who are a major sponsor of the NFL on TNT. We hope you're enjoying the game, and thanks for being with us.
How about Anthony Delwig today, Skip? You know, everybody said Mikowski's out, they can't handle the Rams. Well, Delwig throws 3 touchdowns. And Vinny Testaverde down in Tampa Bay, people were wondering, when's he going to start playing like the #1 draft pick? Well, he did today, throwing 3 first half touchdowns against the Lions.
Drummond and Tony are the setbacks. 20-10, Schuler in motion. Cunningham throws. Schuler completes it at the 25-yard line. He was hit there immediately by the Giants' Carl Banks. Boy, he's a good football player. Both of them are.
Yeah, you're right. 4 minutes left in the third quarter. The Giants are up by 10 points, and that man has to come up with a big play or two to get something on the board. It's tough to drive the ball against this Giant defense 80 yards.
Mike Quick out of the game. Barnett is back in, and he's flanked wide right. 2nd and 5 for Cunningham and the Eagles. Tony tries to go wide, breaks a tackle, gets a first down, crosses the 30 to about the 33-yard line. Down on the bottom of that pile, Eric Howard among others. So a 1st and 10 for Philadelphia.
It's been a night much like we expected. Trick play there by Byers. Maggott, 1,800 all-purpose yards a year ago. They had the 68-yard punt return. Giants putting pressure on Randall Cunningham.
Roger Vick checks into the game in the Philadelphia backfield. 1st and 10 for the Eagles. Vick gets the ball. The former Jet is hit and stopped at the 35-yard line. Johnny Cooks out of Mississippi State in on the stop.
There's Rich Kotite. He is the new offensive coordinator for the Eagles. Comes over from the Jets. And what he was saying this week was, I want Randall Cunningham to become more of a rhythm type of thrower. We don't want to take some of the spontaneity out of his play. We want him to get back at 5 steps and get rid of the ball.
Boy, that Byers is tough. He's back in there again. Fake draw. Cunningham to throw. He has a man, but Byers can't control it. The pass a little too tall for it.
Good job.
Byers comes up limping again. Yeah. Looked like he stepped on some of those cables down there and re-injured himself.
Into a microphone or something. This ball again was out a little bit in front of him. He made a catch like that last week, actually. He's got those big paws. Pepper Johnson in pursuit. He actually hurt his foot, it looked like, before he got there.
Robert Drummond into the Philadelphia backfield on 3rd and 9 from the 35. Calvin Williams wide right. Complete, knocked down, well short of the first down. Drummond with the reception, but Greg Jackson was in on it in a hurry. The youngster out of LSU, a second-year man. The Giants have held again with 2 minutes left, third quarter.
Yeah, that's 2 very strong defensive series in sequence by the Giants. But they have just played beautiful defense tonight. They've sacked Cunningham, they've put pressure on him, they've covered their receivers well.
Fiegels, a fine kick. Maggott at the 19 again. Not so much luck this time. He returns to the 26, a 7-yard return of a 46-yard punt. So the Giants take over at their 27-yard line. They lead 20-10. There's 1:37 remaining in the third quarter. We've had a flag. Let's see what Gordon McCarter has to say.
Holding, number 53, kicking team, 10-yard penalty, repeat fourth down.
So they'll have to kick it again.
Well, and you don't want to be doing that to Dave Meggett when he's returned to punt 68 yards.
You don't want to do that to anybody because people hate running down under those things anyway. Maurice Henry was the guilty party. Now Meggett will have another chance, and Fiegels will unload another one. 1:37 left, third quarter. Pat Haden, Skip Carey with you from Giant Stadium, which is, of course, sold out. There's Meggett.
There really is a sense of anticipation every time he's back there on a punt return or he's coming out of the backfield, because he has the ability, as we saw, to take it all the way.
Drummond in and Henry out of the game at the last moment for the Eagles. Boy, he can kick. Meggett backs up. This one he fields at the 16. Gets to the 23, so they have actually lost yardage. That was a 55-yard kick. Another 7-yard return. Terry Hogue on the stop. Say, join us next Sunday night at 7 o'clock Eastern for the best way to wrap up your football Sunday. The Stadium Show with host Fred Hickman brings you up to date on all the scores and highlights from the NFL. That won't quite wrap it up, because at 8 o'clock, an important AFC Central matchup live from Three Rivers Stadium. The Oilers and Steelers from Pittsburgh next Sunday night on TNT. So the Giants go to work with 1:25 remaining in the third quarter. Bill Parcells patrols the sidelines. Now it's Carthon and Tillman in the backfield. Odessa Turner wide left. Carthon flanks out to the right. Tillman bangs his way forward. That's what they'd love to do now, is keep the ball on the ground, get some first downs, and run the clock.
Well, you're right, and because the Giants have the 10-point lead and because the Giant defense is playing so well, I think if the Eagles are going to win this game, their defense is going to have to create a turnover, because the Giant defense is just playing too good tonight to try to drive the ball on. So it's up to the Eagle defense to create a turnover and a short field for their offense.
2nd and 4 from the 30-yard line. Odessa Turner wide to the right. Carthon flanks left. Lewis Tillman still the running back. Carthon in motion. Tillman. I think he got a first down. He did as he crosses the 35. That moves the sticks and keeps the clock ticking away with 32 seconds left in the quarter. Jesse Small, the snap.
The offensive line for the Giants really did a nice job there, and that's a unit that Bill Parcells in particular takes a lot of pride in. They drafted guys there in the offensive line, the 2 top draft picks this year, offensive linemen, because he feels you have to run the football in the NFC East and to win in the fourth quarter.
That was the last play of the third quarter, and the teams changed sides, and the crowd is roaring here in the Meadowlands. For the Giants lead the Eagles. It's 20-10. We'll return for the fourth quarter after this. Bill Belichick talks it over with his troops. He's got to be happy with the way they've played.
They have played sensationally on defense.
Sims gives to Tillman, and he is upended. Oh, what a super play by Clyde Simmons.
Clyde Simmons is a guy the Eagles actually asked to do a lot of different things, even though he's a defensive end, because they'll ask him to rush the passer, but he also gets involved in pass coverage sometimes. He'll cover a back coming out of the backfield, even though he's 6'6" and 275.
Ball's at the 33-yard line. It's 2nd and 12. We're in the final quarter. New York leads by 10. Cawthorn goes in motion. Sims, play action, throws. Cawthorn complete. Breaks a tackle, gets close to a first down, and a late hit, and a flag, and that will be a first down for New York. Looked like the youngster out of Georgia.
Yeah, it was Ben Smith. Yeah, you're right. #1 draft pick. No surprise, Buddy Ryan always drafts on defense, but Maurice Carthon, you're going to see him go out of bounds, then you're going to see Ben Smith use his elbow right into the face, right there. It was the elbow and forearm into the face of Carthon that drew the 15 yards.
And that gives the Giants a first down, which is just what they want with 14-13 left in the game. Boy, a touchdown here would put them in business.
Yeah, as good as the Giant defense is playing, that's why the Eagle defense has to create something, or the Eagle special teams have to do something.
Lee Roussan has checked into the game for New York at a running back position, comes in motion right. Tillman, not much. He's down at the 41-yard line. Byron Evans out of Arizona, the linebacker on the snap. Clock continues to roll, however, with 13:45 left. Philadelphia makes some defensive changes. Ben Smith was out for a play. He's back in. So is Izell Jenkins. Hopkins comes onto the game. So does Al Harris.
It looks like Reggie White's jersey is about 3 sizes too small. I'm not sure you can make them big enough for him, but it prevents offensive linemen from holding him.
Sims to throw against pressure. Throws long. Has a man. Ingram. Touchdown. Sims to Ingram.
That's beautiful. That's fun to watch. You know, these guys get paid an awful lot of money, but when you watch Phil Sims do this and you see the joy on his face and how excited he gets after throwing a touchdown pass like that, you know they're having fun as well. Mark Ingram, the #1 draft pick a couple of years ago, and if the Giants are going to make a run for it this year, he's going to have to come up with some plays like that.
Raul Allegre will try the extra point. It is good. So the Giants having it all their own way. 27-10 is our score with 13-13 left in the game. Gray kicks it away, and it will be Vick who comes away with it to the 10 and does not reach the 15-yard line. He's upended by that man again, Raina Thompson. He is something. Tillman was there too.
Scoring drive there by the Giants. This took them 6 plays. It was a long drive, but what really happened, it was set up by the penalty on Ben Smith. Remember, Ben Smith had the personal foul called on him, and that set up this play. Phil Sims acting like a kid again, throwing the ball, a beautiful throw. You can't throw it any better to Mark Ingram.
Back live, Cunningham puts it up to Drummond. He makes the catch and is wrapped up at the 18-yard line. Perry Williams made the stop. He's out of North Carolina State, a 7-year man.
As tough as the Giant defense has been, I don't think you can waste any time there. I don't think the Eagles ought to even be huddling. I think they should be on the ball, because you're not going to get too many chances against this Giant defense. And sooner or later, you're down 17 points, the clock becomes an enemy as well.
Fred Barnett checks into the game. Mike Quick goes out. He's had a quiet night, but then most of the Eagles have. The give is to Tony, and he blasts his way to a first down to the 27-yard line. Anthony Tony stopped by Pepper Johnson. The clock runs. Johnson helped by Perry Williams on the play. Tony now 11 carries, 37 yards.
You know, one of the successful plays the Eagles had in the first half was that touchdown. And their only touchdown was kind of on a trick play because of the aggressive Giant defense. Maybe that's what the Eagles need to think about now. Maybe a reverse, some sort of action, flow action, throwback.
Quick back in the game and flanks to the left, and he's in the pattern. Cunningham is chased out of the pocket, starts to run. Pepper Johnson hit him, tripped him up. Pepper Johnson made the initial hit. Carl Banks in on the play as well, but a fine play by Johnson. Boy, they got to be tired chasing that guy around all night.
You're right, but you know, you talk so much about Lawrence Taylor. This Giant defense has a lot of good players, and Pepper Johnson is one of them. He's in his 5th year, but this is really the first year where he's come in at training camp on time, been the undisputed starting inside linebacker, and they think Pepper Johnson's going to have a big year. He has tonight.
Again, Cunningham to throw. Has a man. It's Schuler, complete at the 35-yard line. Mickey Schuler with the reception. He's shy of the first down. The stop was made by Dave Duerson.
And now if you're the Eagles, down by 17 points, 11 minutes left in the ball game, it's 3rd and 2. I think you run the ball here twice to pick up the first down. I think you have to be thinking that way.
10:50 remaining. Keith Byers back in the game. Well, that's profiles for courage. Not that, but Byers coming in again.
Wow.
Another television tradition. 3rd and 2. It's Byers in motion. Cunningham splits it out here. He's got Tony, I think.
What, was that a clever little play?
A strange looking thing, but it worked.
Well, there was some real quick penetration. It was supposed to be a pitch play by Randall Cunningham, but there was real early penetration by this Giant defense. He couldn't get the pitch. He thought it was going to get intercepted, and so then he just kind of tossed it to him.
Carl Banks was in on the stop. First down, Philadelphia. They're at the 38-yard line. Great protection for Cunningham. He's running out of the pocket, and he runs out of bounds at the 44. He was chased out by Greg Jackson.
You know, anytime Randall Cunningham has that much time to make a play, it just tells you that the Giant defense is doing a terrific job of coverage. And they've done it all tonight against Cunningham. They've rushed him, they've sacked him, they've played good coverage, and the good thing they've done is they've really mixed it up. They've had a nice mix of blitzes and putting pressure on him, and then they drop off in coverage and force him to scramble.
Cunningham 4 rushes for 24 yards, but that's not many rushes for him. 2nd and 5 at the 44. Cunningham, the throw again, has time down the middle, complete to Schuler once more. He's having a busy night. 13-year veteran from Penn State, a former Jet. Duerson on the stop.
You know, I think tight ends can have big years because teams don't see tight ends much anymore. With the 3 wideouts, the 4 wideouts, the run and shoot and such, I think there's an opportunity for tight ends, guys like Mickey Schuler and Mark Bavaro, to have big years.
Eric Howard back into the game. Johnny Cook's out for the Giants. Williams wide to the right. The clock is an enemy of Philadelphia. And a whistle. And a timeout is called by New York. They may have been caught a man short on the field. The Giants call a timeout, and they do it with 8:57 left. The Eagles are in Giant territory. It will be.
Giants up by 17, and it's really been the story of the Giant defense, and that's their coordinator, Bill Belichick. Now, 2 nights ago, he was worried about back-to-school night for his kids. Tonight, he's worried about Randall Cunningham.
Byers in motion and in the pattern. Cunningham broken up. Banks knocked it away, and a flag flies, and interference will be the call. Duerson was there as well.
There are some bodies flying around out there.
Pass interference, number 58 defense, automatic first down.
Wow. Carl Banks and Dave Duerson were there making the play. And Cunningham has got a little rhythm going right now with his tight end working the middle. Yeah, that's a good call. Banks got there early, and Duerson nicked Schuler's head late, but Carl Banks, he's had a very nice evening as well, both playing over the tight end, stuffing the run, and rushing Cunningham.
8:53 left. Cunningham filling the air with footballs. That one is a one-hopper to Robert Drummond. Duerson again on the coverage along with Perry Williams.
And although that's an incompletion, and you can get in a huddle, I just don't sense the kind of urgency from the Eagles that you'd expect with 8:48 left and down by 17.
Cunningham 18 of 28 for 139 yards. Couple of interceptions. Flags fly. Cunningham will run. 30. Good cut. 25, 23. Loose football. Giants appear to have it, but but there is a flag. Let's wait and see. And the Eagles are clapping, so something has gone against the Giants. Offsides against New York. Now let's see who recovered that football. If Philadelphia recovered it, they'll take the play. If they didn't,
Offside,
that's the penalty.
number 52, defense. The defense recovered the fumble, therefore the penalty accepted. 5 yards, repeat second down.
So Philadelphia has the ball, but they lose valuable yardage.
Randall Cunningham that time put Greg Jackson, number 47, in a bind. Jackson again didn't know whether he was going to run it or pass it. But, you know, that was Lawrence Taylor again. That's incredible. Lawrence Taylor, I saw earlier in the play, rushing the quarterback. And then he gets down 30 yards downfield to make that play. That's an incredible play by Lawrence Taylor, I think.
Philadelphia is driving, but they're using up precious time. Byers in motion. Cunningham to throw again. He's throwing on every down. Byers, 25, 21-yard line. A host of tacklers, among them Dave Duerson. Myron Guyton in there as well. Well, that Byers is a tough guy. He hasn't run the ball much tonight, but he can catch it.
Yeah, he can.
Clock continues to tick with 8:15 left. 27-10 Giants.
You know, but a lot of his receptions are really like runs. I mean, he catches those balls out in the flat, maybe 2 or 3 yards away from the line of scrimmage. It really is kind of like a run.
Williams wide right. Barnett to the left. There goes Byers in motion. Cunningham to throw. Not much pressure into the end zone. Throws it away. Perry Williams of the Giants, the closest man to it. It's second down.
This Giant defense that Randall Cunningham has to figure out a way to beat. They have been really terrific tonight. They have done just about everything. Lawrence Taylor 2 plays ago made one of the most incredible plays that I've seen. He was blocked by 2 guys rushing the passer. He spun around, went down, and caused the fumble. There's just no quitting the man, no matter what time he gets into camp.
Second down, 10 yards to go. The ball at the 21, 7:53 left. Cunningham, not much pressure, down the middle, complete, quick to the 1-yard line. Not quick with a reception, and the Eagles are knocking at the door.
And I always think that if you're going to throw the ball down here, what Cunningham does, he does a nice job of getting the ball to Quick. What Quick does, he doesn't waste any time on a move. He just turns around and gets upfield.
Roger Vick checks into that Philadelphia backfield. They mark the ball at the 2-yard line.
Skip, this is the best down for a play-action fake, 1st and goal.
Quick leads the game. Tony and Roger Vick are the running backs behind Cunningham, who rolls right. He wants to run it. Flags fly. He's driven back. This time the hit was made by Pepper Johnson, but let's see about the penalty.
Pepper
It's against the Eagles.
Yes, Pepper played a game tonight, Skip.
Holding. 87 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
A big penalty by Harper LaBelle. So they'll repeat first down. It's now 1st and goal from the 13-yard line.
Right at the screen, number 87. Again, another little wrestling match going on there. That's what short yardage is, just a battle for territory, but they call the holding. But look at that, just Pepper Johnson refusing to be blocked. It was Greg Jackson, number 47. Lawrence Taylor was there.
Tony in the backfield, along with Byers. Byers at the 5 is hit, keeps battling, pulled down at the 4-yard line. Dave Duerson in on the stop. Myron Guyton there as well. Another reception for Byers, but the clock continues to roll. Now only 6.5 minutes left. Even if Philadelphia scores, they may have squandered too much time.
Well, you're right. I mean, I think 3 minutes ago they should have been in their hurry-up offense. But that was a nice change of pace for the Eagles, Skip, because every pattern virtually that Keith Byers has run has been outside. That time, he faked outside, he came inside, and was wide open.
They're in no hurry at all. Second and goal from the 4. Byers 6 receptions, 57 yards. Williams in motion right. Cunningham into the end zone. Durson broke it up. Penalty flag, interference on Durson, intended for Quick, but he made sure there was no touchdown.
Now, this is a situation a year ago. Chris Carter was so important for the Eagles. I mean, Chris Carter caught 11 touchdown passes for the Eagles.
Interference in the end zone, 26 defense. Ball's on the 1-yard line, automatic first down.
And Chris Carter caught them all inside the 20-yard line, and that's the same principle here. You throw it up, and you hope you either get an interference call or Mike Quick makes a play. Yeah, there's no doubt. I guess if you're going to interfere, you might as well really interfere, right?
He did that. First and goal at the 1. Vick and Tony, the running back. Pitch. It's Vick going wide.
Oh.
He can't get there.
Taylor made the stop.
How does he do that?
You know, I tell you, there's some athletes who just have an ability to make the play. You know, a guy who makes the first shot on a one-on-one, a guy who makes the critical putt on the 18th hole, the guy who stops a run around by the goal line. Lawrence Taylor has been that kind of player his whole life.
5:40 remaining. Second and goal from inside the 1. Vick in motion. Quarterback sneak. Did he get there? Everybody signaling touchdown except the official.
Yeah.
Cunningham spikes the ball. And now the officials say touchdown.
How did they know that? He came out of there with the ball.
I don't have any idea.
I don't understand how the officials called it so late when Cunningham was out of the pile with the ball.
86-yard drive, 15 plays, and how much time did it take off the clock?
Too much time. He was clearly over there. I'm not sure what took so long.
Roger Ruzak will try the extra point. And it is good, and our score is 27-17 with 5:19 remaining in our game. This thing's not over yet. Stay with us. Looks like an onside kick coming up. It is. It's fumbled, recovered by New York at the 46-yard line. I don't know who got the ball, but I'm sure the Giants have it. David Whitmore had a shot at it.
Yeah, I think it was the tight end number 80, Robert Brosco, who made the recovery.
After Whitmore let it bounce away, so the Giants have good field position and the ball.
I'd say really a methodical drive by the Eagles. It was an impressive drive and the 1-yard touchdown run by Cunningham, but it did consume nearly 8 minutes of the game.
So 5:15 left. Philadelphia has all their timeouts remaining, but they're down by 10. Here's the last touchdown. Not much doubt about it, really.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm not exactly sure why it took so long to declare it a touchdown.
Sims would like to get a couple of first downs on the ground here. Tillman straight ahead, nothing there. Gets 1, perhaps 2 yards.
And Lawrence Taylor, 7 tackles on the night, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumbles. You know, as dominating as Joe Montana has been at his position in the 80s, I think Lawrence Taylor has been just as dominating at his outside linebacker.
4:48 left in the game, and the clock continues to run, and the Giants, of course, in no hurry at all. Second down, as you see, 8 yards to go.
Really up to the Eagle defense now, Skip.
Tillman, the only running back behind Sims. Neither team's running game has been all that hot tonight. Carthon in motion. Nothing there for Tillman. He gets perhaps 2 more yards. Reggie White in on the stop, and Philadelphia squanders its first of its 3 timeouts. So each team has 2 timeouts remaining.
Yeah, and I think if you look back at this game and Buddy Ryan looks at the drive that they just used 8 minutes on, and you're happy that you score, but I think they could have used a lot less time by not huddling so much and taking so much time in the huddle.
They're not out of this game, but it's a little tough. Don't forget, following tonight's game, the Stadium Show postgame, host Fred Hickman will wrap up week 1 in the NFL with all the scores and highlights. So stay tuned. That's right after the game tonight, and then the Dirty Dozen here on TNT.
Fred and I were talking about some of the upsets that took place today and some new head coaches in the league. It was a big day in professional football. Opening of the season, it's a great day. Opening game, guys want to get off to good starts, and now it's 3rd and 7, about 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 for the Giants here, and this is the biggest 3rd down of the game for the Eagle defense. They have to stop the Giants if they're going to win the game. 2
tight ends, Bavaro and Cross, are in the game. Tillman and Carthon in the backfield. Possession play for New York. Cross in motion. They keep it on the ground. Nothing there. Tillman gets absolutely nothing. And another timeout will be squandered by Philadelphia. The crowd doesn't like that. They boo. But with a 10-point lead, trying to think along with Parcells, he's willing to let them squander the timeouts because they can only get to within 3.
As good as Bill Parcells' defense has played tonight, it's not. I don't think it's a bad call. This
Andre Waters will be the deep man again. They have used just about everybody back there.
Bill Parcells, I don't think gets enough credit as a coach, and particularly last year when he won 12 games, and Joe Morris was out, Bavaro was out, Sims was hurt for a couple of games. The man's a good coach. They won 12 games a year ago in spite of all the injuries.
Sean Landetta will do the kicking, and Waters stands at his 10-yard line. We have 4:16 remaining in the game, a 10-point New York lead. They scored 21 straight points here in the second half.
And you have to wonder, maybe the special teams needs to come up with a play. Maybe you go after the punter.
Diassi will snap it. Here they come, but he gets it away. Low line drive. Waters signals for a fair catch, then lets it bounce, and it gets into the end zone. So Philadelphia will start at the 20. There was Raina Thompson again, but he got there a step late.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what Mark Ingram, quite honestly, was doing there, because I think the official, if Mark Ingram would have downed that ball, it would have been down inside the 1. But Mark Ingram didn't do anything, and the official let it roll into the end zone. Watch here. You're right, Skip. Raina Thompson first knocks it. He keeps it out of the end zone, and all Ingram has to do right there is to fall on. The ball came out of the end zone, and all he had to do was fall on it.
Shot coming to you from the Goodyear Blimp Spirit of Akron. At the controls, Captain Pat Henry from Parsons, West Virginia. Philadelphia goes to work. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Time is their enemy. 4:03 left. Byers in motion. Cunningham to throw. He's got Quick going deep. He runs. He's still running. Duerson playing spy within the pass is incomplete. There's a great example of what you were talking about earlier, Pat. Dave Duerson is the Randall Cunningham spy.
Yeah, you'll see in this series that man, Dave Duerson, picked up from the Chicago Bears. And what his job is to do, really, upper left the screen, number 26. You see, all he does is spy Randall Cunningham. If Cunningham goes left, he goes left. If Cunningham goes to the right, he goes to the right. It's like one-on-one basketball. And you see Dave Duerson did a great job of spying there.
And when he's not spying, when he's not playing football, he's a sportscaster for WGN Radio in Chicago. Oh, Cunningham fumbles it, picks it up. It's still alive. And Byers can't hang on. He was hawked on the play by Raina Thompson.
Keith Byers clearly is limping. Here's a man who twice has had stress fractures in his foot. And he had a hip problem tonight. He got hit in the hip, and we saw him grab his ankle or his foot earlier in the game. But he has played as hard as he can tonight, because all he cares about is winning, beating the Giants.
3:49 left. Robert Drummond takes his place. Mike Quick comes to the left. It's 3rd and 10, but I'm sure they'll take 2 more cracks at it here if they fail on this one. If not, it's history. Here comes Taylor. He is blocked. Cunningham looks, now throws. Drummond with the reception and a 1st down, and he almost breaks away. He laterals. The flag is down. It was a forward lateral. The ball goes out of bounds.
I love to see it, though.
I don't blame him for that at all. They got to make a big play.
That's a smart play. You're down by 10 points. You're trying to make something happen. I thought it was a heads-up play by Drummond. It was a a forward pass, a forward lateral.
To Calvin Williams, who booted it out of bounds. Now the officials are going to get together here and figure this whole thing out, and we should tell you that they are. Referee Gordon McCarter, referee Ben Montgomery, umpire Dave Anderson, head linesman Ron Baines, line judge Bill Lovett, back judge Dick Freed. Here's Gordon.
Illegal forward pass by the ball carrier. 5-yard penalty from the spot of the pass. The penalty carries loss of down.
The side judge is Jack Vaughn, the field judge, and Chuck Heberling in charge of replay.
Well, you know, you can choose your poison when you're in a situation like this. You can either rush 3 or 4. They rush 3, gets clearly the pass to Drummond, but he just dumped it off forward to Calvin Williams.
That's a loss of down, but it's first down anyway. They got enough yardage. 1st and 10 at the 43. Cunningham is hit. He's hit again. He's hit again. He somehow gets out. 45, 47, and he got out of bounds to stop the clock. He's like Houdini in a skateboard.
You know, Lawrence Taylor was saying yesterday is I much prefer to see Randall Cunningham throw the football. He scares me, he said, when he's running with the ball in his hand downfield.
Pepper Johnson missed. Raina Thompson missed. Lawrence Taylor missed.
Yeah. That's 3 misses if my math is correct.
That's close.
Yeah. I didn't even have to take off my shoes and socks to figure that one out.
And we're all very thankful for that.
You rode up in that elevator with me, didn't you?
2nd and 5 on the 49-yard line. Mike Quick wide left. They got to throw bomb to him pretty soon. 3:25 left. Draw play. Tony, 50, 45-yard line.
But you know, get on the line of scrimmage. Yeah, you can't huddle. You got to. Time is definitely the enemy here.
Carl Banks in on the stop.
Now, all the Eagles are thinking about is an overtime game, so they need to get 3 and 7 at some point.
They have only 1 timeout left. 3 minutes left as Cunningham throws this one. Byers hit him right in the numbers, couldn't hang on. Greg Jackson on the coverage.
Give Keith Byers some credit. That man is playing in pain. He's had to go out 4 different times with assorted injuries Keith Byers had. And he's made some nice catches tonight, but that's one I know he would like to have back.
He comes out, Drummond in.
Yeah.
You see the ball come free. 2:58 left in the game. 2nd and 10 at the 45-yard line. Pat Haden, Skip Carey with you. Oh, he's all alone. It's Barnett, and he's run out of bounds close to the 40-yard line. And short of a first down with 2:51 left. Byers comes back in again. He's a glutton for punishment.
Now,
Drummond comes on.
Buddy Ryan clearly would like to, and he's thinking about those 10 points. He'd love to have the touchdown first so that his second score only has to be a long field goal attempt. But right now, on 3rd and 5, he'll take either. He wants a first down first, and then if he has to settle for a field goal on this drive, he will.
Quick wide left, Barnett wide right. Cunningham to throw. He's all alone. Penalty flag flies. It was Barnett with the reception and out of bounds close to the 30-yard line on the other side of the field. A flag. Might have been holding on Ferry Williams. Let's see.
Personal foul on the Giants. Well, that helps. Well, that's 15 yards. That'll help.
Personal foul, illegal head slap, number 56 defense. 15 yards tacked on from the dead ball spot. First down.
Yeah. Defensive linemen and blitzers have a lot of different moves. And he just grabbed his face mask and then boom. Yeah. That's a good call by the side judge. That's a good call.
Kung fu time. First down at the 15-yard line. This thing's getting interesting. 2:46 left. Quick wide to the left. Fred Barnett. Cunningham looks, throws, incomplete, intended for Schuler.
A couple of things going here against the Eagles. You need the 10 points. You need to score quickly, and you much prefer to have the touchdown first, and then have Roger Ruzak try to tie the game and go into overtime. And then in between, I think you have to maybe go for that onside kick.
2nd and 10 from the 25. Byers limps out wide left. Quick goes wide right. Williams in the slot to the right side. Cunningham runs for his life. Looks, throws, broken up. Everson Walls made the play.
That's a nice play by Everson Walls.
He's really happy to be here with the Giants.
Yeah, you know, they wrote him off in Dallas, and what does he do in the first series of the new season? He comes up with an interception, then he makes a play right there. And really, the receiver, I think, Byers did a nice job of actually preventing that interception, because I thought Walls was going to get it. And I think Byers at the last moment got his right hand in there and knocked it away from him. 3rd
and 10 from the 25-yard line. Cunningham to put it up, of course. He does. It's Byers, and he's well short of the first down. He really got hammered.
And you wonder...
Pepper Johnson in on the stop.
And you sit there and you wonder, hey, why throw that pass, a 5-yard pass, when it's 3rd and 10? Well, Buddy Ryan knows that he needs the 10 points. He'll take the field goal here and then try to get the ball back, score a touchdown, and tie it up.
Ruzak will try to kick it. Fiegels will hold it. It'll be a 29-yard attempt, and we will reach the 2-minute warning before they get the kick away.
Yeah, Lawrence
so
Taylor,
they've lost what would have been another timeout for them.
That's right. You know, Lawrence Taylor a year ago blocked an extra point.
So Ruzak will kick with 2 minutes left, and he'll do that when we come back to the Meadowlands. By authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience, any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New York Giants and the National Football League is prohibited. 2 minutes remaining in the game. Ron Sold looks on, hopes his team can rally. Roger Ruzak with a 29-yard field goal attempt. Fiegels is holding, so you wouldn't expect a fake.
No, Fiegels threw a touchdown pass in the preseason now, yeah.
The Giants then have to be alive for that. They lead by 10. And that is perfect. So it's a 7-point game, and the Eagles come battling back. 29-yard field goal. 27-20 is our score, and now an onside kick, I would guess, is almost a certainty, wouldn't you think, Pat?
Yeah, I think, you know, we saw Buddy Ryan do it earlier, try the onside kick. And you kind of have a couple of strategies. Is maybe you fake the onside kick, you kick it deep this time and try to back him up, and as good as his defense is, you hope that you can get another chance. Or you just kind of go for the onside kick.
Or you can maybe bloop one between the deep men and all the men up front and hope somebody can run under it. But
well, that's 3 alternatives.
Shot.
Let's see if we can think of a 4th now. That's 3 at least.
Well, they could give up and go home, but they're not going to.
We are overcoaching this game, I'm telling you.
Well, we'll soon find out. We'll let Buddy Ryan make up that decision. I'm sure he appreciates
his job.
all our help.
Yeah. But, you know, every successful onside kick I've seen is you have to have the ball bounce twice. You know, it can't just bounce one. It has to bounce twice, so where you get the crazy bounce and have a chance.
So you have a lot of guys in the game who can handle the football, wide receivers and defensive backs and the like.
And every one of them is hoping it doesn't come to them.
Exactly.
You hope it comes to the guy next to you. 1
timeout remaining for Philadelphia, so if New York gets the ball, they can run down at least a minute of the remaining 2. All they need is a first down to put the game away, but first they have to come up with the football.
They had Everson Walls down here, Odessa Turner down here, Mark Collins, Guyton, the free safety.
Ruzak will kick a pop fly. Somebody makes the catch.
It is a fair catch. That's a penalty.
Should be a penalty, and it is. A fair catch was called. And now tempers are flaring. I don't think the Eagle player even knew it was called. He was so intent of getting to the football. But it brought up a collection of flags, and the hostilities continue.
Yeah, no, it's usually the little guys in there that are flailing around at it.
Ingram was one of those involved.
Yeah. And Dave Meggett. But, you know, this is a heads-up defensive play and good coaching. On the onside kick, you have every right there to call the fair catch. And that's just what they did, but it was 51 Ricky Shaw. I don't think he really saw his hand, and he ran right through him.
And Shaw's wondering why people are jumping all over him. He thought he just made a tackle, I guess.
Yeah, well, actually, it was Mark Collins, I think, who actually hit Shaw, and then Shaw retaliated.
So now the officials are off to the side, sans handkerchiefs, talking it over.
You know, I don't know, that kind of onside kick, you know teams coach their receiving team to call fair catches on those.
There is no foul. We had a valid signal for a fair catch.
What?
The man who signaled did not make the catch. His teammate made the catch, and the ball is dead at that spot. First down.
There were 4 guys that signaled fair catch at least.
You know, let's have another look at it, because I thought actually he was signaling.
He was. You'll see it here.
I see 4 different guys with their hand up. Yeah, he made the valid signal. That should have been a penalty, because Guyton did signal the fair catch.
Well, now the officials are talking it over again, and they may change this.
Yeah, I think that's what...
They're not waiting for a replay. They're discussing it amongst themselves, I believe. Now, let's see. Here's Gordon McCarter again.
After further discussion, it is that both men had given a valid signal, and he was hit. The man who made the catch was hit after the catch. It is 15 yards from the spot of the foul, first down.
You know,
they got it right. Yeah, that's what they should do.
That's exactly right. You know, maybe they look bad. It's a bit embarrassing for them, but that's the right call. And Gordon McCarter did the right thing there. That is definitely the right call. And I'll tell you what that does is put this Eagle defense in a bind. 1:55 remaining. The Giants are up by 7 points. Now the Giants get those 15 yards. Maybe you get one more first down and you're in field goal range.
Well, you get one more first down, you run out the clock in all likelihood. But they've had trouble getting that one more first down.
Yeah, well, this defense will do it to you. As you see, the Eagles just have 1 timeout remaining.
Phil Simms brings them out. Odessa Turner wide right. Lewis Tillman is the running back. Hawthorne goes in motion. The give. Tillman, bang. He is drilled. I mean, he is really hit by Byron Evans. And Philadelphia will use its last timeout. And I imagine Tillman would just as soon they gave it to somebody else. He has taken some shots here.
He's not going to volunteer for it. And one of the surprising things to me about this game, the Giants up by 7 points, and they have done it without Mark Bavaro. Certainly as a receiver. Now, he's also a good blocker, but Bavaro, who Bill Parcells was happy about being a new part of their offense this year, really hasn't been featured tonight. Haven't thrown a ball his way.
By the way, well, first let me tell you, the Stadium Show postgame will follow our contest. Fred Hickman will wrap up week 1 in the NFL with all the scores, highlights. So stay tuned. Mickey Schuler, when he caught his first pass, I should have mentioned this, he's got quite a consecutive game streak. That's 87 consecutive games in which he has played that he has caught a pass. Philadelphia is slap out of timeouts now. A Southern expression. 150 left.
So now really their only chance is to cause a fumble. One guy's got to hold the ball carrier and another guy's got to strip the ball.
Odessa Turner wide to the right. Tillman again. He gets about 3. It'll be 3rd and 8. Byron Evans on the stop, and now a helpless feeling for Philadelphia as the clock continues to run. They're going to have a chance to get it back.
Well, yeah, because I don't think you're going to see Phil Simms put this one up. I may be surprised, but I don't think you're going to see him throw the ball.
Because if he misses, he stops the clock.
Yeah, maybe you just take the penalty here, perhaps even.
3rd and 10 from the 42, they say. 1:12 left in the game. Lewis Tillman out of Jackson State is the running back. He gets another chance. Boom. Evans again. 40-yard line. Clock continues to run. Less than a minute remaining in the game.
And now you take the penalty before you punt the ball, if you don't mind adding 5 more yards onto the punt. And Philadelphia has to think about punt block. But they'll let that clock run out, I imagine. I'll tell you what they're going to do is actually they're going to snap the ball again. Yeah, because the Eagles will not get it back. They're just going to run it out. They're just going to snap it again. Yeah, 10 seconds there and 22 seconds remaining on the game clock.
So a penalty will be called for right.
Yeah. You know, what this game really means, I think, if the Giants can hang on to win, is that, you know, the NFC East is going to come down between the Giants, the Eagles, and the Redskins. And they all seem to play each other a lot early in the year, so this is a big win for the Giants.
Let me ask you a question. What would you think if this,
Delay of game.
if this ball was
Offense,
snapped
5 yards.
and the punter just ran around back there for 12 seconds?
That is a possibility as well.
Of course, if you get hit in that time, you give them better field position.
All Giant fans remember is the Joe Pizarchik play.
Yes.
Of a few. That's all they think about anytime they play the Eagles in a situation like this.
Everybody up for Philadelphia. They got 11 guys coming. Sean Landetta is a lonely fella. And he gets the kick away, and it appears headed for the end zone. Maybe not. Can they get there? No. So Philadelphia starts with 4 seconds left.
Well, you know, this game, Bill Parcells has to be happy with his special teams, the way his defense played. The offense came through when they had to, but this game went really according to script. Actually more points than I thought, but it's a close ball game, a 7-point game, which has really been historically the case. The Eagles won the last 4 games. It looks like the Giants go on top early in the 1990 season.
The ball is at the 20, and there are about 6 Giants standing at the 40, most of them defensive backs. Philadelphia is going to go Hail Mary left. Everybody comes left. They flood the left side.
The Falcons a couple of years ago won 2 games.
Cunningham throws up a prayer and hopes for an answer, and the ball game is over as it's intercepted by Greg Jackson. Jackson with the interception. The ball game is over, and the Giants have interrupted a 4-game losing streak to Philadelphia. New York 27, Philadelphia 20 is our final score. Bill Parcells makes his way off the field, and we'll be back right after this.